You picture it, don't you? The towering stone walls of a medieval castle, banners snapping in the wind, a great hall filled with roaring fires, massive feasts, and the sound of lutes. It's a romantic image. It's also a complete lie. Forget the fantasy. Forget the lords and ladies, the knights in shining armor. For the 99% of people who actually lived inside those walls, life was not a fairy tale. It was a cold, short, and grueling nightmare. And you are not the noble. You are not the knight. You are a servant, and you wouldn't last 24 hours. Your day doesn't begin with a sunrise. It begins in the pitch black, hours before dawn. The year is 1350. There is no alarm clock, only the sound of a guard's boot kicking the thin straw pallet you share with 3 other people. It's 4 a.m., and it is freezing. You don't sleep in a bedroom. You sleep in a windowless attic space, or perhaps on a small alcove in a stone hallway, directly on the floor. The bed is a sack of straw, teeming with fleas, lice, and bedbugs. The cold doesn't just seep in, it lives in the stone. It's a damp, gnawing cold that settles in your bones and never, ever leaves. You pull on your single set of clothes, a coarse wool and linen tunic. It is stiff with your own sweat, dirt, and the grime of yesterday's work. You haven't had what we would call a bath in 6 months. The first task of your day? It's not breakfast. It's to be invisible. You stumble down the winding, uneven steps of the back staircase. Your job is to be silent. If you wake the lord or lady, or even their dogs, you will be beaten. Not maybe, you will be beaten. Welcome to your first 30 minutes. You're already cold, itchy, and in danger.
Now you might be thinking, what kind of servant am I? This is important, because in a castle there is a vast, complex hierarchy of misery. At the very top, you have the upper servants, the steward who manages the entire estate, the reeve who oversees the peasants in the fields, the lady-in-waiting, a noble woman herself who serves as the lady's companion. These people have privileges. They might get a small private room. They eat better food. They are entirely at the mercy of the Lord, but they are not you. You are at the bottom, the absolute rock bottom. You are the scullery maid, the stable hand, the laundress, or if you are truly unfortunate, the gong farmer. As a low-level servant, you are not considered a person. You are considered staffage, a living part of the furniture, like a chair or a tapestry. Your name is irrelevant. You are boy, girl, or you. Your entire existence is defined by a single word: labor. Not work, labor. The kind that breaks your back before you turn 20. Let's assume you're a scullery maid. Your domain is the wash-up area next to the kitchen. Your entire day, from 4 a.m. until 9 p.m., is spent with your hands plunged in ice-cold, greasy water. You scrub hundreds of heavy wooden trenchers and pewter plates using sand and lye as soap. The lye eats the skin from your hands, leaving them permanently cracked, bleeding, and raw. But you're lucky. You're inside. Your friend, the laundress, spends her day down by the river, even in January. She beats the castle's heavy linens with a wooden paddle, her hands turning blue with cold. She boils vats of water over an open fire, using a caustic mix of lye and urine. Yes, urine, to bleach the fabrics. The ammonia fumes are blinding. She will likely be dead from lung disease by age 30. But even she is luckier than the gong farmer.
The gong farmer has the single most horrifying job in the castle. Gong is the medieval word for toilet, or more accurately, the garderobe, a small stone chute that empties from a seat directly down the outside of the castle wall. But what about the privies on the ground floor, the ones that are just pits? That's where you come in. The gong farmer's job is to clean out the castle's cesspits. It is a night job, because the smell is considered so offensive, so literally toxic, that it cannot be done during the day. You are lowered into a pit of human excrement, sometimes several feet deep. You shovel the filth into buckets, which are hauled up by your partners. You will do this for hours. The stench is unimaginable. The risk of infection, of drowning in filth, of being overcome by methane gas is constant. You are paid more than any other low servant for this work, but the money is useless. You are a social outcast. No one will stand near you. No one will eat with you. You live and die alone, smelling of the latrine. But let's say you're not the gong farmer. You're just a general dog's body, a domestic, and your job is to clean the Great Hall. This, you think, must be better. This is the center of castle life. It's a nightmare. The Great Hall is not a pristine banquet room. It is a multi-purpose pigsty. The floor is not stone. It's packed earth, covered in layers of straw and rushes. This flooring is almost never changed. It is simply added to. In that straw is everything. Spilled ale, gnawed on bones thrown to the floor, grease, vomit, animal droppings. Because yes, the dogs, cats, and sometimes even chickens live in the hall with everyone else. This matted, rotting, foul-smelling carpet is your problem. Your job is to sweep it, but it's too wet and matted to sweep, so you scrape it. You find things in it: maggots, rats' nests, lost coins. The smell of rotting herbs, old food, and waste is the permanent atmosphere of the castle. It's the smell of home. Finally, you get your first meal. You don't get a plate. You're handed a trencher, a thick, stale, 4-day-old bread. On this, you get a ladle of pottage, a thin, watery stew of whatever vegetables were about to go bad. You might get a sip of small beer,
which is incredibly weak, watery ale. It's safer than the water, which is likely contaminated. You eat this standing up, in a corner, in 60 seconds, because you are now assigned to the kitchens. The medieval kitchen is not a place of culinary art. It is an industrial forge. It's a detached stone building designed to be separate from the main keep so it doesn't burn the whole castle down. The air is black. 2 or 3 massive fireplaces roar at all times, burning wood and charcoal. There is no ventilation, only a hole in the roof. The air is so thick with smoke and soot that you can barely breathe. Your eyes water constantly. Your lungs fill with filth. You are a turnspit. This is the lowest job. You sit on a small stool next to a roaring fire, and you turn the heavy iron spit. For hours and hours. You do not stop. The heat is scorching. The fat from the roasting pigs and geese drips and splatters, burning your face and arms. If you slow down, the meat burns. If the meat burns, the cook, a terrifying, angry man who rules the kitchen with a ladle and a fist, will beat you. The kitchen is a symphony of dangers. Scurrying, soot-covered children, who are also servants, run underfoot. They pluck chickens, scale fish, and get screamed at. The floor is a slick mess of animal blood, grease, and dirty water. You slip. You burn your hand on the spit. You don't cry out. You don't go to a doctor. You wrap it in a dirty rag and keep turning. If you can't work, you will be replaced. And if you are replaced, you are thrown out of the castle. And to be thrown out with no money, no family, and no skills is a death sentence. So you work. All day you turn the spit. You haul 50-pound buckets of water from the well. You scrub giant blackened cauldrons. You are deafened by the noise, choked by the smoke, and singed by the heat.
Your shift in the kitchen ends as the sun sets. The feast is served. You, of course, do not eat the feast. You do not see the feast. You are allowed to take the scourings, the burnt, greasy bits scraped from the bottom of the roasting pan. You mix this with your stale bread. This is dinner. It is now 7 p.m. Are you done? No. Now you must prepare for the night. You haul firewood up endless flights of stairs to the Lord's chamber. You fill their ewers with water for washing. You help the higher status servants prepare their bed, warming it with a hot pan of coals. Then you must attend to the slops. You go room by room, collecting the chamber pots. These are heavy, ceramic jugs filled with the day's urine and feces. You haul these one by one down the dark staircases and empty them out a window or onto the dung heap just outside the walls. You splash it on your tunic. It doesn't matter. It already stinks. It's 9 p.m. Your 17-hour workday is over. You crawl back to your straw pallet in the attic. The cold is, if anything, worse. You huddle with the other servants for warmth, sharing the single thin wool blanket. The straw is damp. The fleas are biting. Your hands are throbbing. Your lungs ache. There is no sick day.
If you catch a fever, you will be seen as a liability. If you're lucky, you'll be moved to an outbuilding to recover or die. If you're unlucky, you'll just be ignored and you will die on your pallet. Your body is breaking down. The repetitive labor is destroying your joints. The poor nutrition is rotting your teeth if you have any left. You have a constant cough from the smoke and the cold. You are 19 years old, and you look 50.
But the physical toll is not the worst part. The worst part is the psychological one. It's what breaks you in the first 24 hours. It's the absolute lack of control. You have no rights. None. You are property. The Lord can have you beaten for any reason. Being too slow, being too loud, looking at Him the wrong way. If He or His sons or His knights decide to assault you, there is no recourse. There is no one to tell. It is simply a fact of your life, another burden to carry. You have no future. You will not be promoted. You will not save up money and open a shop. This is it. You are a scullery maid, and you will be a scullery maid until your hands are too gnarled to work or your lungs give out. You have no freedom. You cannot leave the castle. To leave is to be a vagrant, and vagrancy is a crime, punishable by whipping or branding. You are tied to this stone, cold, stinking prison. This is the reality that crushes you. It's not just the labor. It's the hopelessness. It's the knowledge that this day, this horrible 17-hour day, will be repeated tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, until you die. It's 10 p.m. You lie in the dark, listening to the rats in the thatch. You itch, you hurt, you're hungry. You are very, very cold. You close your eyes and you don't dream of knights or princesses. You just pray for a few hours of numb, dreamless sleep before the guard's brute finds your ribs again in the pitch black. You wouldn't last 24 hours. You'd break. You'd break from the filth, from the cold, from the sheer, unending, back-breaking pointlessness of it all. You would see the sun rise over the battlements, smell the cesspit and the wood smoke, feel the lie on your hands, and you would understand. You are not in a fairy tale. You are in a machine. And you're just one of the many, many disposable parts, easily replaced, destined to be worn down to nothing and forgotten. Of all the jobs we've covered, from the gong farmer to the turnspit, which one do you think was the absolute worst? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you for facing the darkness with us.